You guys probably remember my Cadillac Escalade video I did on this channel about a year ago. It generated a lot of views because people were rather impressed by the size of that thing. Back when I did it, that was pretty much the king of full-size SUVs. Well, it turns out that it wasn't enough for Cadillac. Cadillac felt that it could go a bit further with its gargantuan luxury SUV. Chauffeur, gun it. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the Cadillac Escalade-V. There's nothing about the Escalade-V that allows it to distinguish itself from a regular Escalade, except for some very subtle design cues. Obviously, there's the massive V letter here on the side, and you've got 4 shotgun barrels out the rear that act as exhaust pipes. But apart from that, it's all rather discreet. I mean, even the wheels are rather elegant for a high-performance Cadillac Escalade. I can't believe I just put these words together in a sentence. But look at the size of the brake calipers on that thing. My God, this is like it's like a 1.5 feet for a brake caliper. And up in the front, well, you got a darkened grille, darkened headlights, darkened out trim here and there. You kind of have like a lip spoiler down on the bottom, but apart from that, it's all rather subdued. Nobody will know that underneath this gigantic hood lies General Motors' most powerful V8 engine in history. And it's based on the ESV version, which is the extended wheelbase Escalade. Now look at it compared to another full-size SUV, the Infiniti QX80. It's almost a full 3 feet longer. This allows the Escalade to be the king of full-size SUVs. Think about it, there's absolutely no logical reason to have created an Escalade-V, especially in this day and age where climate change is becoming more and more of an issue and that the entire auto industry needs to transition to electric propulsion. That's also why the Escalade-V exists, because in the next 2, 3, 4 years, this kind of vehicle will not be able to exist because of stricter emissions regulations. I wrote an opinion piece about that a few months back, saying that before everybody goes electric, we're going to see what I like to call berserker moments in the auto industry. Basically, the craziest engineer wet dreams, the wildest ideas you can come up with will be executed because the automakers are going to say, well, you know what, we're not going to be able to build this anymore. Let's do it one last time. And this is exactly what the Escalade-V. This is Cadillac saying, we're not doing it because it makes sense. We're doing it because we can still do it and it won't be possible in a few years. So what Cadillac basically did, it took the supercharged 6.2-liter V8 from the CT5V. This was also the engine that powered the last generation Corvette Z06. It's also the engine that Camaro's the Chevy Camaro ZR1 1LE, and they shoved it under the hood of an Escalade. And the end result is a whopping 682 horsepower and 653 foot-pounds of torque. Now, this is unbelievable power. I mean, this is the most powerful full-size SUV on the market. It's the most powerful V8 engine General Motors has ever produced. It's made it to a 10-speed automatic gearbox. It's always all-wheel drive. It's got upgraded suspension. It's got Magna-Ride suspension, just like the regular Escalade. I have beefed up brakes. You know, the chassis was tweaked up just a bit, but it's not really a handler. I mean, when I put it in its sportiest V mode and I enter a corner quickly with it, ugh, it's a big barge. I mean, I got massive body roll, and I really got to hold on to this thing. However, the good news is I have really good brakes. These things bite unbelievably well, and you want good brakes in a truck of this size and weight. Now, you're probably hearing the soundtrack right now as I'm driving this car because I'm in V mode, and you're probably hearing the 6.2-liter V8. I'll give you a bit of a soundbite so you adequately understand what kind of power this thing makes. Downshift a few gears, put it like in second. Oh God! The backfires. That's what you want to hear. Listen to this. Listen. It just just keeps going. It's like it's a machine gun. This is a machine gun. I'm just attacking everybody here in the neighborhood. Hello, I just arrived in my Escalade-V. But then when you floor it though, when you really floor it. Oh my God! This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It has no reason to exist. It's so obnoxious. This is the most immature vehicle I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like a monument. It's basically a minivan with a Corvette engine. Why not? Oh, those backfires are absolutely freaking awesome. So let me just tone things down a bit and continue explaining what this insane machine is. Back in automatic mode, what's great about this though is that it's still an Escalade, which means it's highly comfortable, and I have a lot of modes to choose from. I'll put it in my mode. My mode is where I put everything to stealth. Everything is super quiet. The exhaust note is back to normal. The suspension is nice and wobbly. I'm just driving an Escalade. People will never assume that the very violent gunshots they just heard came out from this Escalade. The obvious question is, why does this thing even exist? And my answer to that is, Cadillac just wanted to be the king of everything. This thing is all about numbers. It makes almost 700 horsepower. The fuel consumption is ridiculous. I mean, you'll be lucky to get under 16 liters per 100 kilometers. When you're gunning it, you'll be between 20 and 25 liters per 100 kilometers. It'll cost about $200 to fill up. And yes, this thing requires minimum 91 octane fuel. It weighs in at 6,400 pounds in this ESV configuration. And the one you see here, stickers for $183,000. That's a lot of money. That's almost supercar territory. That's about the price of an Audi R8 for a glorified Chevy Tahoe. Get a few gears back in here, put it in V mode, downshift again. Just enjoy the sound of this. I am going to launch the Escalade-V, so I'm going to floor the brake pedal, floor the gas pedal. Go. What the hell? Jesus. Okay, buddy. Let's slow you down there. Oof. You really need to grab it. It's like a big teddy bear. It's like, oh, okay, buddy, calm down, or it's just going to plow through everything. It is a very stupid car, this. It's completely useless. But you know what? My General Motors PR rep was telling me that the moment that this vehicle was announced, all orders were fully booked. Everybody just jumped on it. These things are already sold out. So General Motors understood something with this. They're well aware that this thing is completely useless, yet they're making a lot of money out of it because it's not costing them a lot of money to build these things. I mean, these things are basically Chevy pickup trucks with a body on it, a more luxurious interior, and a Cadillac CT5V engine that needed to go in something else anyway because they're not selling a lot of CT5s, but they're selling a lot of these. So, I mean, GM is pretty smart because by putting them in this thing, well, they're selling all their engines. But you know what? Even if it's stupid and completely ridiculous and ruining my budget because of its gigantic gas bills, I quite like it. The Escalade-V is definitely a ridiculous vehicle. It's totally useless. We don't need a near 700 horsepower full-size luxury SUV. But the question is, who's dumber? GM or the consumers that are buying them? I mean, GM is just a car maker that's trying to make money. You can't really blame them. We need to ask questions about the people that are dishing out $183,000 for a thing like this. Because when you think about it, remove that gas guzzler out of the engine bay, stack it up with batteries, put electric motors in it, and you're just going to blow the doors off of this Escalade-V. Perhaps that's the future of the brand. But hey, no matter what you think about this thing, one thing's for certain, GM is throwing one hell of a party before it's over.